Everywhere you look, the message is the same. The economy is growing. GDP is up. Markets are strong. Unemployment is low. And yet, life feels harder. Rent takes more of your income. Groceries cost more. Savings feel impossible. Even working more doesn't feel like progress. So people start asking a quiet question. If the economy is doing well, why am I not? This confusion isn't accidental. It's built into how we measure growth. Because economic growth doesn't describe how people are doing. It describes how systems are doing. And those two things are no longer the same. When governments and media say the economy, they usually mean total production, total spending, total profits, not affordability, not stability, not quality of life. So growth can happen even while millions fall behind. This is why headlines feel disconnected from reality. You're not imagining it. You're not failing. You're living inside an economy where success is measured at the top and pressure is absorbed at the bottom. To understand why this gap exists, we need to look at what economic growth actually measures and what it ignores. Because once you see that, the struggle starts to make sense. Economic growth usually means one thing. GDP is increasing. GDP measures the total value of goods and services produced. That's it. It doesn't measure whether wages keep up, whether rent is affordable, whether people feel secure. So if profits rise, GDP rises. If prices rise, GDP rises. If people spend more just to survive, GDP still rises. Even financial stress can look like growth on paper. For example, if rent increases, landlords earn more. If groceries cost more, companies earn more. If people rely on credit, spending increases. All of this boosts GDP even if life becomes harder. This is the first disconnect. The system rewards activity, not well-being. And because modern economies are increasingly financialized, growth is often concentrated in asset prices, stock markets, real estate, corporate margins. These benefit people who already own assets. Meanwhile, wages grow slowly, if at all, so the economy can expand upward. While pressure builds downward, growth doesn't trickle, it pools. And once growth becomes detached from daily life, struggling becomes normal even during good times. But this still doesn't explain why it feels worse now. To understand that, we need to look at where the gains are going and who absorbs the costs. In modern economies, growth increasingly flows to shareholders, asset owners, large institutions. Why? Because the system is designed to reward ownership more than labor. When interest rates are low, asset prices rise, borrowing favors investors. Wages lag behind inflation, so people who own property, stocks, or businesses benefit first. Everyone else pays later. Even when wages rise, they often lag behind. Housing costs, healthcare, education, energy, so people feel richer on paper, but poorer in reality. This is why growth feels invisible. It's happening just not where most people live. And when inflation arrives, the gap widens further. Prices adjust quickly. Wages adjust slowly. This delay transfers pressure downward, not through policy announcements but through systems. No one votes for this. No one announces it. It's simply how incentives flow. This is why people can work harder in a growing economy and still feel like they're losing ground. The system isn't broken. It's optimized, just not for comfort. In the past, widespread struggle triggered alarms. Today, it's absorbed. As long as markets remain stable, debt is serviced, inflation is controlled, the system considers itself healthy. Individual stress is treated as adjustment. This is why rising costs are often described as temporary, why affordability issues are framed as personal budgeting, why pressure is normalized. The system doesn't collapse when people struggle. It collapses when confidence breaks. So policy prioritizes stability over relief. This creates a quiet shift. Struggle becomes permanent, not exceptional. And once that happens, people stop asking, "What's wrong with the economy?" They start asking, "What's wrong with me?" That's the most dangerous outcome of all. Because the problem isn't personal failure, it's systemic design. Understanding this doesn't make life cheaper tomorrow, but it does something important. It removes the confusion. You're not struggling because the economy is failing. You're struggling because growth no longer equals relief. The system measures success one way while people experience it another. And until those incentives change, this gap will persist. That's why this channel exists. To explain why growth can coexist with hardship. Success can feel like pressure and stability can come at a human cost. Because once you see how systems work, you stop blaming yourself and start understanding outcomes. And that understanding is the first form of control. If this explains something you've felt but couldn't name, subscribe. The next video explains why some countries get rescued and others are left to collapse.